half kneeling breathing exercise for pelvic floor. So I'm in that kind of half kneeling position, going pretty much as deep as I can. So you can utilize yoga blocks here to kind of get a little bit comfortable. My arms aren't quite so long. So I'm in that half kneeling position, allowing my forearms to kind of rest on the yoga blocks. If you can go all the way down and you don't need the yoga blocks, you can do that as well. Think of this as mimicking a deep squat position where you need to get pretty low and find that expansion in the lower part of the back into deep levels of hip flexion, or taking the knee kind of closer towards the chest. So as I breathe into this position, I want you to imagine the inhale going down into the pelvis and into the pelvic floor, allowing those tissues on the back side of the pelvis to kind of lengthen and let go. So think of more of that lower part of the pelvis, like right around this sacrum area, which is allowing us to kind of bring that lower lumbar spine into a little bit more flexion, and think counternutation. So what I mean by that is, since I'm in this half kneeling position and I'm going kind of right around here, you can see I'm getting a little bit more of that lumbar flexion, which means kind of a little bit more of that rounding. If you're in that more anterior tilt, usually you'll kind of be in more like this. So I'm kind of getting a little bit more of that rounding and flexion in this position, and I'm just going to breathe. Inhales down, exhale. You can add a little bit of a pelvic floor lift, maybe like 10-15% effort here, just so you can kind of sense that expansion driving down into the pelvic floor. This is great if you have a lot of pelvic floor tension. As I inhale, I also think about kind of pressing a little bit into the yoga block so I can feel expansion in my back as well. Inhales down into the pelvic floor. Exhale. And in this case, because my right leg is forward, I'm feeling more of that connection on the right side of my pelvic floor. So if I switch to my left, it's going to be really similar, going out to that wide setup, arms resting on the yoga blocks. And I'm simply just going to think about inhaling down, exhale, inhale, imagine the pelvic floor letting go, and exhale. Think of this like a half kneeling pelvic floor release drill. How this might translate if you really love like a happy baby or something like that. We're just doing it a little bit different and getting that expansion to that lower part of the pelvis, allowing the pelvic floor to let go in that half kneeling position, something that mimics a deep squat. If you have trouble getting down a little bit lower, you can always elevate the yoga blocks or choose something a little bit higher where you can feel comfortable. Inhales down, exhale.